What are you trying to do? Oh god, okay. I know I've mentioned this a lot in my recent videos, but I just really want to hit a trick shot so bad. And I know I'm red gunning to last, it's a scumbag thing to do, but I just need to hit one. I can't get to last with sniping because there's always one sweat or one guy who's just really good at sniping who always gets to last before me. But I really need to just hit a trick shot. Like, once I hit a trick shot, I'll stop red gunning to last and I'll start, you know, actually sniping to last. I just need to satisfy my craving or addiction to hit a trick shot. I guess it's not really an addiction since I haven't hit anything at all. I'm also just going for extremely simple stuff. But I'm a noob at this, okay? Give me a break. Okay, here we go, boys. Of course, a host migration. So today has definitely been one of the weirder days in my life. I'm not really sure if you'd call it a bad day because even though it was kind of a bad day, it didn't leave me in a bad mood. I'm not currently in a bad mood, so I'm not really sure if I can consider it a bad day, just a weird one. But first of all, I had to go to school, and you know, school is school. School makes any day bad. But then during school, I ended up doing a cartwheel to show the fellas how it's done and to impress the ladies, you know, show them what I can do. And I ended up really hurting my leg. Like, it is legit sore to move and to run and to jog. It's just sore. Please don't rob my house. Okay, they were just turning. And every Wednesday, which is today as of recording this video, we have orienteering training. Now, if you don't know what orienteering is, I've explained it way too many times to explain it again, but it's basically a running sport. And every Wednesday, we have training for this down in our local park. And coincidentally, tomorrow we have an orienteering event, which is actually the All-Ireland. So that's kind of the biggest orienteering competition of the year because the season is coming to an end. This is the last one of the year. After this, there isn't going to be any more competitions until next year. But basically we have that competition tomorrow and my leg is really sore. It like was extremely painful to jog today in the park. So I don't know what it's going to be like tomorrow, but I'm hoping that it's okay. Because I'm not sure if I'm really like good at the sport or not, but I guess for my school I am good enough to the point where I can contribute to it occasionally. On top of that, there were some really rough looking people in the park today who went around stealing stuff that we needed for orienteering, because basically orienteering is kind of like a treasure hunt and you need things that you need to find. You get a map and you have to find certain things on the map, and the things that we had to find, people stole those, which was kind of douchey of them. They didn't take all of them, they just took some of them. And yeah, they were really rough. They were actually in the park before and they kind of scared me because they came up to me and they started asking me a bunch of questions and threatened to punch me in the face, which it was legit scary. Like, I was crapping myself at the time. But those guys were back again today and they actually ended up stealing controls this time. Last time they didn't, but this time they did. And you know, they were still looking as dodgy as ever. So they ended up taking the controls. They also ended up scaring me a little bit because, you know, memories. And actually there was one point where I was out my run and a girl from my class ran around a corner, and for a split second, I didn't fully flinch, but for a split second I kind of ever so slightly flinched because I thought that it may have been them. But then with that being said, you know, I didn't fully flinch. It was just kind of like, you know, I was... Then I ended up coming home pretty tired, a little scared, and pretty hungry. Only to find that there wasn't really much to have for lunch. There was some bread that was kind of stale, but I just ended up having cereal because, you know, screw it. Why not? Cereal is life. Then I came upstairs with my cereal to enjoy it while watching some quality YouTube videos, and my nose started to bleed. Now, you'll have to take my word for it, but I didn't actually pick my nose. I don't pick my nose. It's just weird. But it just started bleeding. It's like a wise man once said, you can pick your friends, and you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose. But yeah, it just sort of happened, like it just gushed out. Like, I haven't had a nosebleed this bad in a while. Now thankfully I did have a small bit of tissue on my desk here, so I just grabbed it and stuffed it to my face. Like, I had one hand here to stop the bleeding and then one hand holding the tissue up to my mouth, and I still had my headset on, and this tissue was only like 2 squares. The tissue paper was only like this much. And with all the blood gushing out, like the paper was getting really squidgy, but I didn't really have enough time, or I wasn't able to take off my headset. So I had to like grab the toilet paper like this and take off my headset and then run to the toilet and get more toilet paper. And one thing that's kind of been weird recently is my nose has been kind of bloody. I'm not sure if I have an infection or something, but occasionally I'll blow my nose and it'll be a tiny bit bloody even though it didn't bleed. Or sometimes it'll just bleed a tad bit for a few seconds and then just stop. It's weird. But today was something different. Today was a lot worse. It just bled like crazy. Now thankfully it didn't last too long, even though a lot of blood gushed out, but yeah, it was still kind of weird.